Hello, welcome to another episode of Deb's Artsy Life. This is episode 8, I believe, and it might be a little longer than normal, so I hope you'll stick around through the entire video. I've got so many things I want to share with you. First of all, let me tell you that it's Sunday, August 13th, and yesterday I had all these plans that I thought I would do, and I ended up just really catching up on laundry and doing things around the house and didn't film a video. Um, I didn't even really get out in the studio very much yesterday. I kept my grandson on Friday and took the day off from work and was able to crochet, and I've got some finished objects to share with you that I completed. And but first, in this video, I want to talk a little bit about art and share my palette with you, my new palette. You remember my big art haul where, excuse me, I'm coming, where I got all the Winsor watercolors from Hobby Lobby for $1.99 each. Well, I have been playing with these and having so much fun today. I came home straight after church and started playing around with them and just getting to know the colors. And I've got so many colors that I can't fit them on my palette. I'll show you my new palette. Try to show you. This is the Meeden. I think I'm going to have to do this another way. But anyway, this is the Meeden Watercolor Palette that I've seen so many artists use. And I filled it, and I'll be sharing that with you later on the tripod. And then I bought this one, which is also a Meeden palette, except it's metal and much, much smaller, and it just has half pans in it. So those two palettes are brand new, and I've filled them with the new Winsor watercolors, and I've made a handy little sticky note that shows all the colors. So what I want to do before I get into filming, I want to paint with you. I want to show you what I've been playing with today and just kind of do some painting. But I want to talk to you about my art. I know a lot of you are crocheters and knitters or knitters, and maybe you don't paint, but it's all part of my artsy life, and I can't separate the two. I have to share both of them. So I want to show you some of my artwork and kind of talk about how um, it sort of led into my crochet, and I hope that through the body of work I'm going to show you or try to show you that you'll see kind of a correlation and how it all just kind of came together. I've been painting since I was a child. I've sold quite a bit of work over the years. I've, considered myself kind of semi-professional. I've won several awards and things like that. And I used to paint very realistically, but I don't do that anymore. For the past probably 15 years, I've been doing more, not really abstract. I think I would call it more whimsical. It is kind of representational, but not realistic. So let me just show you. I started painting these. Gotta get the right portfolio here. I started painting these little 5x7, what I call doodles. I would go to the park at lunch when I worked, just right near where I worked, and I would take lunch and go to the park and paint. And here's one of those. This is actually my aunt's watering can that was on her table and her plant. And this is just done kind of from memory. And they're really meant to just be bright, happy little pieces of artwork. I'm going to try to do this without taking them out of the, nope, I think I'm going to have to take them out. Here's another one, and it's just totally made up from my imagination. I love doing these things. I love cozy interior scenes like this, you know, the coffee and the tea and the books and flowers, and I just love it. These little, I had a friend who called them tablescapes, and I guess that's kind of what they are. But I sold so many of these, and I would sell the original, and then I started making prints. That one's kind of simple, but I just love them. Like I would use, there's little marker dots on here, and then I draw it with a marker. And of course, it kind of looks like a coloring book page, but that doesn't bother me. I love that. I love those dark black lines. So anyway, that's something I wanted to share with you. And then as time went on, it kind of evolved into, let me see if I can find it. Well, let me just keep going. Here's one that I did. This is mixed media. It's got a little bit of collage on it. It's, I think, a black brush marker sketch, and it's totally from my imagination. And it's got some colored pencils, some acrylic paint, some, gosh, I don't even know, just all kinds of different mediums. It's got a lot of watercolor in it. So what I did yesterday was, I've had this on my to-do list for some time, and I sat in the living room floor and cut up 22 by 30 watercolor sheets into these 5 by 7 pieces so that I could hopefully paint more of these. What I like about this size is that, you know, it's manageable for me. It's something I can do really quick, and I can sell it for, you know, not very expensive price. Like, it's original artwork if I sell it, and of course the prints I sell at the bookstore in town. But I love this one. This is one of my favorites. And that was I don't know if that was done from life or if I just made it up. I know the cup is probably from my imagination. I don't know. But I love that one. It's been a few years. I think I did that with a dip pen. I'll just show you a few more. Here, I'm hoping you can see this without me taking it out. That's a more realistic one that I did. And then this one's a little more realistic. I think I was looking at maybe a magazine photo. This is a wild one. All the teacups. And this is the one that I was telling you about that my daughter saw at the coffee shop. Someone had bought a copy of it. This is the original. I have not, I stopped selling my originals because I want to keep those. This is 2 sketches that I did in 1992. My grandmother died in 93. No, I'm sorry. 90. She died in 2000. This was done in 1992, and these were her garden tools and her rocking chair. So these are very old, but the rest of these are newer ones. Now, excuse me just a minute while I get something. What I want to show you is, I started doing these whimsical watercolor blooms. I think it was around 2000. Oh, I don't even know. 2000. I don't know. It's been about 10 years, I'm thinking. I can't remember, but look at this. Okay, and in 2016, I think it was like 2014 that I started those. And then in 2016, I learned to crochet, and I had never crocheted before. Well, look. This is a big bowl of little cotton flowers. This is called the Easy Peasy Flower. And this whole bowl is just full of all these colorful flowers. But what's interesting to me is the correlation. Look at that. I had no idea when I painted this that I was even ever gonna crochet. And look, it just blew my mind how my art kind of led into crochet, and my style is kind of the same across both. And the common denominator is color. So much color. I love color. That's what it's all about to me. So I hope that you'll enjoy just seeing some of these. I'm just going to pull them out and show you some of these whimsical watercolor blooms that I've done over the years. I've got this big portfolio, and you know, it just stays downstairs on the shelf, and I thought, why not get it out and share some of this with you guys. I like that one. And here's some smaller ones. I hope this is an okay way to show you. I don't have any fancy setup here. It's just me. You get the true artsy life. This one's pretty cool. It's kind of realistic. And I think I was going by a photograph to a degree. And then this one is completely different. I actually cut out the flower shapes and collaged them onto the background. So it's kind of cool. But again, look at the similarities to the crochet. I love it. And it was completely accidental. This is one of my favorites. And it makes me think of fall, the colors. And then that really makes you think of fall. Here are some. This is some lettering that I did. You can tell this portfolio is a little bit bigger than I am. What I want you to notice, especially in this one, are all the layers. I love doing that. I like this one. This is one I did many years ago. This was when I lived in the other house, and behind me in the living room was this bookcase. That's kind of my alter ego sitting there reading art books and drinking tea. But isn't that cool? I just like fun, colorful art. Here's one. The Earth Laughs in Flowers. Emerson. This was 2018. So, here's one that I really love. My friend made these into earrings. Be Joyful. I have to show you those sometime. That's one I did several years ago. It's kind of happy art. Look at this one with all the drips and splatters. And that one's got some gel pen. Now, these I want to, well, this is my favorite. One of my very favorites. I have to show you this. I call that intersections, and I'm not sure why, but I think it's because all the flowers kind of intersect. But I love doing that. And I'll tell you how I did it. There's so many layers. Of course, it starts out with the spouncer, the circle stamped into the watercolor. And then I just draw all the shapes and just layer and layer. This has Neocolor 2 wax water-soluble crayons in it. And that's what gives it such a deep purple. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you are, I'm going to stand up, maybe that'll be easier. These little still lifes. I took a 12 by 12 block of watercolor paper and taped it off and divided it into sections and just very loosely made up these little still lifes. I'll try to get them close and show you two at a time. They're very bright, and I just love doing them, and I love looking at them. I need to probably frame them and hang them up somewhere. Excuse me while I get the others out to show you. Just fun. I kind of worked on all of them simultaneously. There's watercolor, there's markers, there's colored pencil, just all kinds of different media. And then here's one that is really wild. I did this with the dropper of the ink. Very loose and colorful. This one's kind of crazy. I could just spend hours doing this. It's so relaxing. And here's one more of those. Hopefully you can see that. I took an acrylic online class with Robert Burridge, and I think that class kind of helped me with these, even though they're watercolor and mixed media. So now I want to show you one that is a completely different kind of mood to it. And you can see how color, affects mood. This one's very different from my bright colored ones. And it started with a Prismacolor alcohol brush marker, the Prismacolor markers. And I don't know if you can see it, but it's that deep brown color. I started drawing the leaves with that and then just kept adding and adding. But I love this one. It has a moody kind of feel to it. So I hope that you enjoy seeing these and that it'll kind of, tell you a little bit about me, and you can kind of see when you show your artwork, you're kind of showing your soul. That one's kind of crazy, but I had fun with it. It's got some, gosh, I don't even know. It's just all kinds of mixed media. And then, actually, I think it goes this way. I'm not sure. The thing about these is you could probably display them anyway. This is one of the last ones that I did, or the most recent. I'm going to have to take them out. Sorry about that. Don't want the glare. I love all the drips, and oh, I just love this. It's got like I'm sorry, you can't see that. I think that's like Prismacolor, Neocolor crayons. This is acrylic paint pen, Posca pens. I just love all the layers. I'm sure there's plenty more that I can share. I don't want to bore you. But I hope you're enjoying this, and I hope it gives you a little insight into how I feel about color. Look at this one. This one's really cool. See all the little dots? I did every one of those with a brush and paint. That was fun. Okay, so I'm gonna switch around, I think, now, and we'll just paint together for a few minutes. Thanks for your patience with looking at my artwork, and I hope you found something you liked. So hold on a minute and we'll continue from another angle. So I have a thing for circles. I love this one. It makes me think of Nebula. That's the title, I guess. These are my favorite colors together. Okay, so let's just do one of these together. I've got my water here and my palette. Well, I'll start with this one. I've already put down a little bit of, I think that's lemon yellow. I've also got this real old palette that's in a tin, a credit card tin. I think I used the lemon yellow out of it. So you can wet the paper first, and it kind of flows easier because this paper is so thick. This brush is just a Blick Studio Synthetic number 6, very cheap, nothing spectacular. Now I'm using not necessarily just the new Winsor & Newton watercolors. I'm using several different palettes, and I'm just playing with color. And I'm just painting circles and putting water down and letting the paint flow. This is Cobalt Deep from the Winsor & Newton colors. And here's some manganese from those colors. I'm just messing, really, and mixing. I love swirls. I'm getting a puddle here, so I'm just kind of mopping up some color. Getting a paper towel. I'm going to go in here with some manganese and brighten that up a bit. Maybe some cobalt. So truly, all I'm doing is playing, and anybody can do this. Watercolor is so fascinating because of the effects you can get when the water interacts with the medium. Here's some cerulean in this corner. I'm just going to put it down. Then I'm just going to touch in some, olive green. I don't like olive green. Let's go with some lemon yellow. I tell you why I don't like olive green. It's very earthy, and all my colors are very bright normally. So up in here, I'm going to touch in some cobalt blue. Just pure cobalt, not Cobalt Deep. I think I don't know what brand that is. It's been in there for a while. But what I love about watercolor is this palette right here. I've had this watercolor in that palette for years, literally years. I couldn't tell you how many years. And all you have to do to reactivate it is wet it with water and it comes to life. I want to start another piece. I saw this, I think it's quinacridone gold. Let's put some of that down. Look at that. That's been in there for years, you guys. That has been in that little tin palette for years. Isn't that a beautiful color? I'm pretty sure that that is Daniel Smith. Or Daniel Smith, not Danielle. Okay. And then I'm just going to put some red in there. Make this a nice hot painting. Look at that. Just look how the watercolor interacts on the paper. To me, that's what's so fascinating about watercolor. I'm going to come in with some lemon yellow and kind of orange that up a bit. You notice I'm leaving some white if possible because I think that adds interest, and I need to soften up some of those edges. I'm not sure what kind of red that is because, like I said, these have been in here for years. I think it's quinacridone rose or red. Some more lemon yellow. So really all I'm doing is just playing. And what I can do is use these as backgrounds, and maybe, you know, I could cut out letters. I could draw letters and cut them out, and I'll show you an example. Here's some that I've cut out of backgrounds. This is supposed to be fun, but the U hasn't been cut out yet. And I get these ideas from Joanne Sharp's class. She is absolutely incredible. And she talks about art bits. Some artists call it journal fodder, some call it art bits. It just depends on, you know, what it is, who it is. But these are some dragonflies we did in Joanne Sharp's Artfully Inspired Life class that I'm taking. And you can still get into it. JoanneSharpe.com. That's JoanneSharpe. And I'll link it. But she teaches fabulous classes. Look at this. We did some flowers and a ladybug and some hydrangeas. But these are just little art bits. So I've got like envelopes just full of these. And I've got like, this is something a background, I guess you could say, that I painted. And you can use these papers all sorts of ways in your journal. Here's a little 5x7 I did. It's kind of Americano, isn't it? It's red, white. Well, actually, it's red. Yeah, red, white, and blue. Just playing around with color. So, here's a page of leaves that we did. You can cut those out and create a collage. So, there's just so much that I want to show you. And I'd like for you to let me know in the comments, you know, what you would like to see. Like, if I were to teach online courses, what you would like to see me do. I know there's a lot of instructors online that are way better than me, I'm sure. I'm going to dip into this Winsor red, this new color. And look at that. Just brighten that up. turn this into a fireball. Look at that. That center is almost pure color with no water, which I don't do very often. I'm lifting some of the color now to try to create white space around it to draw your eye to it. Softening and straightening up that edge to make it look more like a circle. Picking up some of this paint that's very wet. And I'm going to come in with a little more of that red in the corners. And then I'm going to step back into this. This is a more rose red, I think. And that's more of a fiery red. So, what I think about this is that it's fun and it's happy and it's completely stress-free. And that's what I like about this new art style. When you paint realistically, it is very stressful to me. It was very stressful because I wanted to get a likeness and all that stuff. Well, with this, you don't have to worry about that. You're just playing. Isn't that beautiful? So, I hope you've enjoyed this. And again, you know, look at this. Just imagine that blue dragonfly on top of this orange. See, orange and blue are complementary colors, so they complement each other, and the dragonfly would stand out against that background. But anyway, if you'd like to see more of this and more in the way of a tutorial, let me know in the comments. I hope you're interested in the art as well as the crochet and knitting. Even if you don't want to do it, maybe it's fun just to watch, you know, and see my paintings. I've got so many supplies. This room is absolutely full of supplies, and I would just love to share with you. Now, I noticed that this is bleeding in again, and I want it to separate. So let me go in with some of this Winsor red. Yeah, that's what I was using. I want that swirl to stand out. So I may have to go in again and mop up some of that so the white paper will come back through. See what I'm doing? I'm just lifting color. I'm wetting my brush, kind of drying it off, and just lifting. Okay, that looks better. Get some contrast in here. Did you see how that lifted? It's kind of hard on this very rough paper, but anyway, we're just playing. But I can't seem to stop. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Again, let me know in the comments if there's, you know, something you want to see, something you want me to talk about. And I'm going to end this segment of the video and go into some crochet finished objects. Thanks. Hello again. I hope you are sticking around. I hope the first part of the video was interesting to you and maybe you saw something you liked. And we are back now in the living room in my crochet corner. And I wanted to share some. Well, first, I want to tell you that I completed the prayer shawl finally after working on it since February. And I gave it to my friend's husband. She was not there at church this morning, but I gave it to him to take to her. And then I sent her not Facebook, but a message on my phone about that I was sending it to her. And she was very, very appreciative. And she's been texting me this afternoon and thanking me. And so I'm really glad to have completed that and to have gotten it to the person I gifted it for or did it for. Um, I have two completed bags to show you, and I'm very excited. There we go. This is done with the Cotton Fair Bulky. It's not showing up quite as bright as it is. I think it would probably be brighter in the sunroom. Hold on a minute. Let me turn a light on. Excuse me. I don't know if that will help, but it might help a little. Oh, yes, it did. Look. That brightens it up. It's just beautiful. Hot pinks and blues and greens. And this is cotton and acrylic yarn. And it should be machine wash and dry. So I've got that. And then this one I started with I actually did an oval base for the first time. And everything I've ever learned about crochet or knitting, I've learned from YouTube. And I'm so grateful. This is just a YouTube video. I just Googled how to create an oval base. So that's what that is. And then this is Premier Anti-Pilling, and this is the Big Twist Party yarn. I've used the moss stitch and then just the half double crochet. I think I went back to the moss stitch and then the half double crochet. But I just love how this turned out. It's very small, but I think if I really had to, it would go over my shoulder, but not real well. But I'm so proud of this because I started it several months ago and I finished it. Okay, so I started working on this again last night. This is the Nova Scotian Sky. I love this yarn that I talked about in my last video. Gosh, I love those colors. Look at that. It's very slow going, but it's coming along. I've done 10 stitches across in knit or the garter stitch, 10 rows at the bottom, and 10 on each side. So last night I picked it up and I started knitting. No, I started purling where I should have been knitting. And I got so frustrated. But thanks to a video, well, plus when I tried to fix it, I was able to fix it. But when I was fixing it, I started dropping stitches. So I was unraveling it and trying to get all the stitches back on the needle, and I dropped some stitches. But thanks to a couple videos from YouTube, and I can't remember whose they were, unfortunately, but I learned how to pick up dropped stitches with a crochet hook and get them back to where they needed to be. And you cannot even tell that I messed up, and I had such a mess last night. And I started to start over. But in that video, she said, so many people waste time starting over when they drop a stitch. And there's just a simple way to fix it. And learning that made me feel so much better about knitting because I hate unraveling and starting over. That is so frustrating. And in crochet, you don't really have that so much as you do in knitting because, boy, it's easy to make a mistake. Plus, I've got like 95 stitches on these needles, and even though they're long, it is really hard to keep your stitches from popping off. So I've been enjoying this weekend, and it's so slow. I mean, it takes forever to get the least little bit of fabric, but I so enjoy it. And I love the way the fabric looks knitted. So there's that. Not a finished object. This is a granny square that I started. You remember the blanket I did. Well, this is the same colors, but I thought of putting in this Serenity Chunky Candy yarn. I don't think here it is. I'm sorry. This is just a ball of it. I don't have the label, but it is Serenity Chunky Candy, and I absolutely adore this yarn. I made a bag out of it, and I think that's in one of my videos. But I just love how it worked with this. And I think what I'm going to do is make 5 of these and make a bag. This is a 10 round granny square. And if you guys, somebody commented on what pattern I used for this square, and I don't really know where the pattern came from, but it's just 12 double crochet, then 2 double crochet clusters and 3 double crochet clusters with no chains in between, except for the corners where I do 2 chains in between the 2 clusters. Now I can do a tutorial on this if you'd like, but there's probably already quite a few out there, so I just have little tricks that I've learned from other YouTubers. Like I said, everything I know I've learned from YouTube, truly. But I've picked up different tips from different people and combined them into what I do. So I just love this. These are my colors all day long. Oh, I adore it. Okay, so that's that. I've made a little more progress on this. I'd like for this, like I said, to be a sweater. So I don't know if I'll even have enough yarn, but I'm going to try. I've got another cake like this, and I might just order some more because I really love this yarn. I'm doing this with an 8mm hook, so the stitches are kind of big. And then I pulled this out of the closet, one of my mini whips. I don't know if you can see this yarn. Focus, focus, focus. Is that not beautiful? The colors in this yarn just thrill me. It is the Big Twist Party in the colorway Candy. I'm going to try to get it to focus. Come on. Focus. Well, I'm sorry, it's not going to. There it goes. So it's a 4-weight, and it takes 5 to make a sweater. And it's the colorway Candy. And like I said, they don't have any of this in stock, so I'm so glad I've got a bunch of it. But I thought what I might do is use this really bright violet from Premier Everyday Anti-Pilling for maybe the centers and do like a granny square border at the bottom and make a sweater out of this because I've got plenty. This is just done with an eye hook, the 5.5mm, so it doesn't have the big, it's not as drapey as the other. So those are things I'm working on, and I have to admit I stopped my knitting for several days. I was just getting really frustrated with it, and I missed crocheting, and so I finished a bunch of projects, and it was just so nice to be back to crocheting. Um, I've got one more to show you, and that's uh, this other scarf that I've been working on. It's getting longer and longer. Look at that. Oh, I love this so much. But literally, it's going to take me forever to make that into a scarf, but I'm going to do it. Isn't that beautiful? Just imagine this winter having that around your neck. Oh, I love it. So that's what I've been working on. I hope you enjoyed these videos, or this video in several parts. Please let me know what you think. And I've got a lot of new subscribers, and I'm so grateful that you're here. Thank you all so much for all your comments. I've gotten so many comments this week, and it just uplifts me. It just makes my day to hear from you and know that you're enjoying my videos and that you're having fun knitting and creating and crocheting and painting or whatever it is you do. And so do let me know, if you want a tutorial on something, or if I don't know, just what you think about the art and everything. And until the next one, I will see you soon. Thanks so much for being here.